at one point in court, and I find that really disturbing. It's really disturbing when the prosecutor stands up and tells Judge Carol Weimer, the presiding judge, during a Brady motion, the defense attorney Brad Haywood in the Brady motion demanded the communication, the prosecutor's communication, the police officer's communication. By law, that information has to be released to the defense because there's a lot of bias. You're talking about a falsified case, and the defense is entitled to the communication. The prosecutor Sarah Sammy, stood up in court, and she told Judge Carol Weimer, it's dangerous to release the communication. Well, when you find out that the communication is going to tie the whole entire case back into the operation they have at the Dumfries Hotel, well, it's obvious. You're going to see text communication between Dorothy Fontain and the officers involved in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. The prosecutor tells him it's dangerous to release that information. Why is it dangerous? What's on those communications that is dangerous?
And there's another phone.
One phone, two phones, three phones. Beautiful.
I'll go through this shit back at the station. I don't know what else. You got it?
Well, you get some more talking about, huh?
Yeah.
Unless you want me to take it, dude. Okay. We're both in the same boat.
Thank you. You want to throw it on
the... Inside your car?
You can put it on the front seat or the passenger.
We'll grab the other phone from. Wow. Now you're in the senior passenger. Congratulations. I know. Can you hold this phone? Don't. I like how as soon as you saw me take pictures, he did. I'm out. You'll get to be major by doing that.
Hey, what is that down there? Is that a camera? What is that down there?
She has a nice camera lens. Fuck.
She has a nice camera lens. Yeah, we're all looking at the same thing. It's a $900, just about a $900 camera lens. Wait a minute. I thought Dorothy was homeless. All right. So far, we looked at the license plates that Dorothy was taken inside the hotel. We looked at the body cam where they found a lens in Dorothy's purse after the accident. We looked at Dorothy's daughter telling us that her mom lived at the hotel. We read the transcript where they're avoiding the cell phone dump from Dorothy Fontain. Let's take a look at what Dorothy's ex-husband is telling us about Dorothy. I mean, Dorothy's ex-husband, on a police body cam, he tells us that Dorothy did whatever she wanted and she'll never get arrested. She drives without a driver license. Police show up and they just let her go. And essentially, he's confused. He's like, I don't understand it. She does whatever she wants. Well, I've got news for the ex-husband, Divine Jones. Maybe your ex-wife was a confidential informant. Let's take a look at what Divine Jones is telling us about Dorothy Fontain. And it's just, we're putting Dorothy under the microscope. And we're building a case. I mean, everything that we're finding out about Dorothy Fontain tell us that she's a confidential informant. I mean, the fact that she's sitting in a fucking hotel and is taking pictures of license plates, and now we're finding out that the FBI have been watching and investigating that hotel for years, tell you everything you need to know about why Mustafa's case is not moving forward. It's not moving forward because they want and refuse to have Dorothy's cell phone enter the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. Let's take a look and listen to what Divine Jones is telling us about Dorothy Fontain. And let me just set the scene for you. Inside the police department, Investigator Romero and Investigator Mole is sitting down with the half-brother. And at one point, the ex-husband called Investigator Romero. And the ex-husband, they don't tell him that the half-brother is inside the police department, sitting down with them in that room. He just puts him on speaker and he's talking to him. And you'll hear the conversation. This is specifically on that body cam. It's exactly, if you fast forward that conversation to 38 minutes. Let's listen.
So who was it that was saying they were going to shoot you? Was it Glenn or the other guy?
No, it was Glenn.
It was Glenn.
Yeah, but see, he knows where I live, and I still don't even know. I still don't even know him. I don't know what he drives or anything, so I can't even be on point for that type of situation. Because they sent me a picture one time of their location, and they was right on the street where I live. And I'm like, and I called her. Like, so where's the picture? And I said, matter of fact, where's the kids? Because I kept calling Prince William Child Protective, like, somebody go check on my kids.
All right, so Divine Jones, the ex-husband, is telling Investigator Romero that the ex-boyfriend, the boyfriend before Mustafa, the ex-boyfriend, Glenn Ford, threatened to kill him. We'll put Glenn Ford under a microscope. We have a whole entire program for Glenn Ford. We have multiple podcasts that we're going to be doing about Glenn Ford, and we're going to get to know who Glenn Ford is. Here, we're being introduced to Glenn Ford from the ex-husband, who he's telling the police department at one point, the ex-boyfriend, Glenn Ford, threatened to kill him.
Because I knew she'd be leaving. Y'all just pulled her over coming from Manassas and let her go. She ain't never had license. She had over 20 pullovers and never even went to jail. It's like no car seats and all this stuff.
All right. What did the ex-husband tell us about Dorothy? No car seat. No car seat. Driving around without a driver license. Shows up, does whatever she wants. I mean, these are all signs of a confidential informant. You walk around with 3 cell phones. You show up, you do whatever you want, and the police don't touch you. You're living in a hotel, pretending to be homeless. Supposedly, you're homeless. You're in and out of hotels. You're living in and out of your van. But you're sitting there taking pictures of vehicles coming in and exiting the hotel. These are all signs of a confidential informant. One thing that is disturbing is Dorothy Fontain, her 5-year-old child, her 9-year-old child, her 10-year-old child, and her 14 didn't go to school. Where is CPS? Where's the police department from a mother that's not letting her kids go to school? You want to tell me these are not signs that the police are just looking the other way? All right. So that's Dorothy and what we're finding out about Dorothy. And now that we know what we know about Dorothy, now that we know that the FBI is telling us all over the news that they've been watching the hotel, we can safely say and connect the dots that Dorothy Fontain was a confidential informant for the police. Because if you're the FBI, if you're the police, and you're watching a hotel for drugs and sex trafficking, you're going to need someone on the outside. These are your informants. Now, fast forward to the vehicle accident of Mustafa Al-Jazari. And the question is, why is Dorothy's cell phone not being entered, being blocked by the prosecutor into Mustafa's case? And Mustafa sits in solitary confinement for over 3 years, and his case is not moving forward. I think it's relevant to the conversation to know the timeline of when Mustafa met Dorothy. What happened before Mustafa met Dorothy? And what doesn't make sense, and it's been 3 years, and it just doesn't make any sense. Mustafa met Dorothy. Mustafa's whole entire relationship with Dorothy Fontain is 3 months long. Mustafa met Dorothy. He says, I saved her from that life. We fell in love with each other. I found out later that she has kids, and naturally, I took the role of a father figure. Their dad was not around. What happened before Mustafa met Dorothy? Now, there was a huge altercation between Mustafa and the club owner out of Crystal City, the strip club in Crystal City. Let's watch a video where that club owner has a huge altercation with Mustafa and essentially goes viral. Over 9 million people saw that video. Each video that was released on that account related to that incident reached millions of views. The whole community, and essentially the community started boycotting that establishment because there's a lot of racism when you walk away. The club owner out of Crystal City is racist. You see him breathing down the neck of Mustafa, being racist to Mustafa for essentially making a living. Mustafa was in that area when that club owner essentially wanted to remove him off a sidewalk. It's a public easement. It's a sidewalk. And he wanted to remove Mustafa for essentially promoting his business. And that video went viral. The problem here is 1 month after that video goes viral, Mustafa meets Dorothy Fontain. And now we're finding out that her 16-year-old daughter and Dorothy's ex-husband works for that club owner. I mean, this is coming full circle. Let's watch that video. And maybe we can all make sense of what's happening in Mustafa's case. This is Billy Bain Jr., the same individual that's paying, that we watched earlier, pay a lot of money into the county supervisors.
Mark, can you turn it up a little louder? They're saying they can't hear it.
All right, let me see if I can put the volume up.
Okay.
Can you hear anything at all?
Yeah, you can hear, but it's low. You got to really listen.
That's the highest.